If you have an LG OLED, I am going to share with you the settings I would recommend you to try for Starfield native HDR on the Xbox. So now I do not have an Xbox, but three reasons for me to recommend you these settings. One, my personal experience. Two, the Starfield native HDR graph on the Xbox looks exactly like this. And the reason why I know that is because I saw it on the Gaming Tech HDR analysis video. Link in the description of this video. And the third reason is I am basically recommending you the same settings that I saw recommended by Home Theater Gamer. Link in the description of the video. He has an Xbox, he has an LG C1 like me, and he tested the game, and I told him I think that recommendation is very good. Even before installing the game on my PC, I saw his video and I thought that makes a lot of sense. And I am very familiar with these settings. I'm going to recommend you because I've been using them for a very long time. This is basically the SDR HDR trick for OLED Motion Pro High on Windows 11. Okay, it works. I know exactly the effect of these settings I'm gonna recommend with you. So now, the example I am using here also for testing is a native HDR game. It's Hitman 3, and it looks like Starfield. So I was thinking, which game I remember that looks like that, which is basically the black level is is beyond 1 nit. Okay, so there's nothing below 1 nit, which is atrocious. I don't understand how they think that's okay. So that's how the Starfield native HDR looks. It's starting beyond 1 nit. Also, I saw a short from HDTV Test testing a Starfield native HDR on his reference monitor, and the reference monitor has an HDR analysis tool like this, and it also shows that problem. It's starting in 1 nit, and it is up to 400 nits, as you can see here. You see the highlights are like 400 nits. So now Hitman 3, when you're actually playing the game, it doesn't look like this. I don't know, for some reason, this is how the benchmark looks, okay? When you're actually playing the game, the black level is not as high, it's not as raised, and the highlights, they actually go up to 1,000 nits almost, okay? But here on the benchmark, for the most part, you see that the highlights are like 400 nits, a little bit more, but very similar to Starfield, okay? So if you're playing Hitman 3 on the PC, then I would give you my recommendation at the end for this game specifically, but that's not related with the video, with the interest that we have right now. So let me share with you the settings I'm going to recommend for you. You're gonna come here on your LG OLED. This is for LG OLEDs only. We're going to use dynamic tone mapping and lower this screen brightness to 38, okay? So now, Home Theater Gamer, he recommended 37. I would go with that, actually. I would go with 37. I mean, one click. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just, he uses his eyes to test this the same way I do. I think his recommendation is very good. And I much rather, if I'm going to make a mistake with a black level, I much rather crush that don't have perfect blacks, okay? So I would actually go with his recommendation. Again, link in the description of the video. And go with 37 dynamic tone mapping on. And I'm going to add another option and another specificity to these options. So now, when you use dynamic tone mapping, you can come here 1113 111, and you can change this master in pick max CLL to 400. So now, in Starfield native HDR, I saw Gaming Tech doing a community post showing that in some parts of the game can actually reach like almost 900 nits, something like that. But he took a screenshot of the graph, and that didn't look like real information. It looked like noise to me. So we never know. It might be just the anti-aliasing or a post-processing garbage or something. I strongly believe that most of the game's gonna be like 400 nits, but we don't know. We don't know. So if the game is going beyond 400 nits, then don't do this. Don't do this. Dynamic tone mapping is going to push the brightness anyway. Okay? And anything that's beyond 400, you're gonna get clipping if the game goes beyond 400. So this is not necessary for dynamic tone mapping. I would do it. I would try like this and see if it makes a difference. But for my second recommendation, which this was not recommended by Home Theater Gamer, but I know it works because it's the equivalent. I'm gonna share with you the equivalent settings for tone mapping off, okay? So I would also try this, tone mapping off. So tone mapping off also works with this Master in Pick Max CLL. But you have to change this screen brightness setting up to 40, okay? So that's the equivalent, 41 or 40, okay? Tone mapping off, 41 or 40. And now for tone mapping off, to push the brightness, you definitely have to come here and select Master in Pick Max CLL to match the Max CLL of the content. In this case, we believe is 400 for the most part, okay? So that would be my recommendation. Let me show you the videos I am referencing here, and then at the end I'm gonna show you basically I'm going to show you how to, you know, the settings for Hitman 3 on the PC. If you're playing on the PC, I'm gonna show you how to fix the game. So this is Home Theater Gamer video, just to show him for a moment. Then I'll show you the gaming tech video, so you see the graph. So check it out, link in the description of the video. So he basically recommended these settings that I recommend you here, and the gaming tech video, so you can see the graph that I'm talking about. Look at the graph. See, the black level is more than 1 nit and it's capping at 400. You can see it here. So that looks very similar to that Hitman 3 graph. So now, why do you see that the graph is kind of broken? Like there's like a black lines. It looks like a scan lines, like black lines, like missing information. That's because of 8-bit. It's just the way it's looking due to the recording tool using the MPV player, okay, which is what he's using. So this doesn't mean that the game is 8 bits or anything like that. It's just the way that the recording tool is working, but it's still giving you an accurate reading. It just doesn't look like it is filling the gaps like you saw on the Hitman 3 analysis on the PC. Okay, this happens sometimes. I've seen it on his videos, and I think it has to do with the MPV player and the way it looks, because I've tried to analyze movies, and that's how it looks when I analyze movies with the MPV player. Okay, so now let me show you the settings that I am actually using in the game for Hitman 3. So let me stop the video, pause the video, and then just open the game mission so you see the settings. Also, before I do that, let me show you that I actually, 3 days ago, I actually told him, a Home Theater Gamer, I said, hey, I haven't tested the game yet, but I think your recommendation is very good. I just wanted to show you that comment. Okay, so Hitman 3 native HDR settings for the PC. Unrelated to this video, but now that we are here, and actually somebody asked me about this game, and thanks to that, I remember, that HDR was messed up. And I remember that it was looking like very raised, and it was actually looking the same as the Starfield native HDR. But when you actually play the game, it doesn't look like the benchmark, actually. So the black level is not that raised, and the highlights are also going up to 800 and something, almost 900 nits. You see it here on the graph. The sun is like 840, something like that sometimes. Yeah, 865, so that's okay. HDIG for this LG C1 OLED, it's gonna work, no problem. If you keep playing the game and there is something brighter than that, I doubt, because this is the sun. But if you see something brighter than that, you can always do tone mapping using this Lilium tone mapping shader. But I wouldn't do it. But definitely fix the black level raise. So take a look at this before and after. Of course, on that recording, it's going to look crush. So you see before, after, before, after. Let me get this out of the way. See here, before, after, before, after. Of course, on the recording, it might look like I'm crushing details. That's just the camera settings, okay? My camera cannot pick up the same I see in front of me. Before, after. But take a look at the graph. Before, you see that the black level is raised, definitely. Okay, it's not a huge, but we can definitely see that. It looks washed out. So when we do this, we fix it. So how can we fix this black level raise? Very easy. Download the latest version of Reshade. Download the Lilium HDR shaders. Link in the description of the video to a full guide showing you how to do that. Okay, just very simple. Install Reshade, download the Lilium shaders, copy the textures and shaders folder to where Reshade is creating those folders. And that's it. And then all you have to do here when you open this HDR analysis tool and the Lilium's HDR black floor fix shader, which is the one we're going to use to fix this, all you have to do is come down here to where it says CSP override. So let me make this bigger so you see it. Make this bigger here. Okay. So all you have to do is come down here to where it says CSP override and type in CSP underscore HDR 10. Okay, that's all you have to do. Let me make sure you can see this. Yeah, that's all you have to do. And do the same for the HDR black floor fix shader. So for both the HDR analysis tool and the HDR black floor fix shader, you have to copy CSP underscore HDR 10 under CSP override. And then here are the settings. Very simple. Just enable SDR black floor emulation, and then you max out this processing cutoff to 250 nits. Okay, you max that out. Just get this lighter and you max it out. And then you still have a little bit of black level raise. So then what I did was enable black floor lowering, and I changed this old black point to 0.009. Okay, old black point 0.009. That's it. So very simple. Enable SDR black floor emulation, max out this processing cutoff, and change this old black point to 0.009. That's it. It's looking perfect with these settings. This is Hitman 3. The game absolutely sucks because you require an internet connection, which is like, why? Okay? DRM free, whatever you can get on GOG. Yeah. Why you need to have an internet connection? It's just beyond, just blows my mind to play a single player game. So atrocious. I don't support this game, but whatever. It was free on the Epic Games Store, like a demo or something. They want your email address to send you advertisements, something like that. I just use it to analyze this HDR, but the game is not a bad game. That's okay. I mean, if you want to play it, who cares? Just do whatever you have to do. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions.